We are officially here. It is Super Bowl 57, and we are on to our third annual Super Bowl special and second collaboration with our favorite podcast, besides ourselves, Down to the Wire. Brian, how are you doing today, dude?
Everyone, welcome in to this Down to the Wire Fumblerooski special. I'm really glad to have you guys on for this today. It is a blast having you guys with us today. Joined alongside me is a fellow WJMFer. He is the voice of the Bryant University Bulldogs. Zeke Kransdorf, welcome in.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk some football.
Sure.
I love football. Favorite sport on planet Earth. Could talk about it all day long, but we got a bunch of other people to talk about it as well.
Absolutely. Going around the round table, obviously, Adam, thank you for having me back. We got big Justin Tucker in the bottom corner, and then we got the main man himself, CJ Medeiros. Obviously, it's going to be a great show. This is actually going to be part of a little special that I'm doing. I recorded an NBA segment earlier today outside with Chris String, so stay tuned for that, and let's get on with the show.
All right. Well, we are going to kick off our Super Bowl coverage. It's going to be a very fun episode. So it's very bittersweet. We are on to our last NFL game until, at least meaningful one.
Sure.
Until September.
Yeah.
Quite a while off, but we are going to ensure that this last episode of football coverage is going to go out with a bang. So starting off, Brian, I believe you have some Super Bowl 57 prop bets.
Yes, I do, Adam. This is something I like to do every year. While I'm not a betting man myself, I gotta admit these prop bets are pretty funny to watch and see. So my first prop bet that I have for you is a classic one. It is the Gatorade color. Now there have been various colorations over the years. Blue is typically been a favorite, but this year we got orange, we got yellow and green, clear or water, blue, red and pink, purple, or there's no Gatorade poured at all. Adam, I have orange is plus 250, yellow and green plus 350, clear plus 500, same with blue, red and pink plus 550, purple plus 900, and then no Gatorade poured is plus 1,600. For all you gambling people at home, you understand that. So I just want to know your guys' opinion. If you had to put money on the line, what color is going to get poured on the winning coach at the end of all this? Adam, I'll throw it to you. If you had to take a guess.
All right. So the only thing I'm familiar with about the Gatorade and the Super Bowl is that it's a very low likelihood that it's the same color 2 years in a row. So what I'll ask, what was last year's?
Blue.
So we can take blue out of I'm just going to take blue out of the conversation.
Okay.
Let's go with,
when the Seahawks won, it was orange. I'm just throwing different colorations. I don't know if that was the last time it's happened, but
I'm going to go green. I think the Gatorade bath is going to be, I know who I'm picking for the Super Bowl. So
it's becoming apparent.
Yeah, I'm going green here.
Okay. CJ, I'll throw it to you. What do you got?
Thank you, Brian. You're very generous.
Absolutely.
So, I would like to point out that I believe I guessed blue last year in last year's Super Bowl show. Let's keep that streak alive. Orange is speaking to me. Give me orange. No rhyme or reason, but I believe in orange.
CJ, I'll agree with you there. I'm also feeling orange for this. I'm feeling it. I could see it being poured on Andy Reid or Coach Sirianni. It feels like it's the destined color to have. Zeke, the man in orange. What are you going with? Money on the line. What are you taking?
I would love to say orange. I really would. In my heart of hearts, I'm feeling lemon lime, baby. I'm feeling that yellow Gatorade.
Why are you giving a politician's answer?
I don't know. It's for the people.
All right, sure thing. And then Tuck, I'll throw it off to you. What do you got?
I don't know.
Are you going purple for your Baltimore Ravens?
No, not this time. This time. I was
the worst.
Red. I'm feeling red this year because it goes with the Super Bowl color. So I was thinking red.
Yeah. All right. Is that everyone?
I think so.
All right. The next prop bet I have is, will a player propose after the game? Now, this is something that here's the thing. There is a little caveat to this, because it's something that happens after many games. You see, many players propose. It's something typically done, whether it's a college game, the NFL. It's something that you see a lot. And while some people are saying no, like maybe there won't be a proposal, I want to raise you this. The game this year is being played 2 days before Valentine's Day. So I don't know if any of these fellas are going to have any ideas here. So, Justin, I ended with you. I'll start with you this time. Will we see someone be getting married at this game?
I want to say yes. And I want to say yes, and I'm going with Jalen Hurts if the Eagles do win.
All right.
I don't know who to go for the Chiefs.
True. All right. Zeke, what do you got?
Listen, both these rosters, fairly young rosters. I think that will play a factor. They probably have not already proposed, probably not already married a decent amount of these players. So I'm gonna have to go with yes here. I feel like whoever wins, there's definitely some young talent that's a highlight moment right there.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm gonna double off that. I'm also gonna say yes. I think that there's just gonna be some love in the air, and when it comes down to it, if emotions are riding high and you're that winning player, I think you're gonna feel like you're on top of the world and you'll do anything in that moment. So I'm gonna say yes. I think we're gonna see a proposal to on Sunday. That's my best guess. Who hasn't answered yet?
Adam and CJ.
I haven't answered yet.
Okay.
Ooh, so I looked up. I did a little bit of cheating. I looked it up to see how many to see.
Brother.
Whoa.
Got a stat nerd in here? Oh my god.
Adam Wright, you suck.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't find anything, but I was just looking
That
up
does.
how many Super Bowls players have proposed at. I found nothing. So I guess it's just not. I guess it's not something that people just post.
Right.
But I'm like. I think Zeke's point that there's a lot of young players between both sides is a fair one. And I think it's just going to be the right occasion if either of these sides win that somebody says, I'm going to propose. So I think I'm going to go with yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. CJ, have you said your answer?
No, I have not.
All right, let's hear it.
So I did some thinking.
We have a lot of yeses right now. So are you going to be the one that strays away from the pack?
Well, let's find out.
All right.
So I did some thinking, and there's like you said, there's a lot of young players, and a lot of these young players happen to be some of the more carefree ones. Like a Jalen Hurts or Juju or anyone like that.
Sure.
So if they win, I think they do it. So I'm gonna have to go with yes.
Okay.
However, I feel that if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, a proposal is more likely to come from them than the Chiefs.
Fair enough. Yeah, the Chiefs, they're kind of locked in. But yeah. All right, guys. I got one more prop bet for you. We did a lot last year. I'm going to keep it to just my 3 favorite ones. Those are, pretty popular ones that we have now. This one is a little bit more specific, and it would require most likely a Chiefs victory. This one is, will head coach Andy Reid eat a cheeseburger before the end of the Super Bowl broadcast?
Oh.
Now, I want to say there are 2 separate betting lines. One is that he'll eat it before the end of the broadcast. And then the other one is, will the words cheeseburger be brought up during his post-game interview? Now, those are 2 separate things. I feel like if they win, it's going to get brought up.
No,
I think
on. There is a clarifying question here. Is the bet that he is going to bring up the word cheeseburger or anyone in the media? Because that's a different line.
The bet said, will the words burger or cheeseburger be said by Andy Reid during a post-game interview?
Oh.
I think he'll say it. I think that's a yes.
But okay. So is that locking in your team for the Super Bowl? I know we'll talk about that in just a second, but
I keep going back and forth on it.
Because listen, I doubt Coach Reed's going to get 50-pieced and then just be, munching down on a Big Mac at the 50-yard line. I don't think that's happening. So, you got to believe in the Chiefs if you have them eating that burger. What do you got?
I think regardless, after the Super Bowl, he'll eat it. I think regardless.
Okay.
If he's offered.
Fair enough. All right, let's pass it around.
I mean, listen, I'm a man of food. I've packed away a couple Big Macs in my lifetime. If someone offered me a Big Mac sandwich on the sideline, I would take off my helmet and I'd be eating it, even if I was a player. So I feel like if someone offers him one, then he's gonna chow down on it. I think yes, regardless of win or loss, if he's offered a cheeseburger, he'll take that. He'll take that cheeseburger.
Sure.
Now, whether or not he'll say the words cheeseburger, I think he will. Regardless.
Now, for anyone, I just want to say, for anyone who's ever listening to this show for the first time, I'm sorry. You guys are in for a very confusing experience. Well, we're going to get into the game in just a second, but to wrap it up, who hasn't said their vote on this particular prop bet?
Adam and I haven't, and I don't think, have you?
I have not. So I will say this. This is going to depend on, the winner of the game. If Philly is to win the game, I don't know if I see Andy Reid eating a cheeseburger, but if we're going KC, here's the thing: in the event KC wins the game, it's happening. But but really, I think this bet, ironically, has a lot tied to who you have in this game, because you're not just going to see this guy just sorrowfully eating a cheeseburger on the side and just crying as his team is getting blown out by the Eagles. That's not going to happen. So this pick really does reflect a lot of who you got in this game. So I'm gonna say no. I don't know if we're gonna see it, because I'm also feeling pretty interested. I'm feeling a certain way about the team in this game.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna listen. Whether we have two different bets here. We have one whether he eats one whether he mentions the word. Yep. And I think that's an important distinction.
It is,
because
it's a very different distinction, Adam. Thank you.
Shut the heck up.
I'm about to say, we're on radio. We are.
I know.
Radio, so
I know. I'm pretty sure you can still say the H word, right?
Yeah. Heck yes, you're good.
Either way, I hate the FCC. Let it be known.
I meant the other H word. But listen.
Adam, go.
All right. Listen. So, yeah, so you took the words out of my mouth. Whether they win is going to infringe upon whether or not he eats a cheeseburger. Yeah. Because he's not going to eat one if they lose. If they lose, though, so he can still mention the word, because during the post-game press conference, maybe he'll mention, we didn't win, so I won't be eating any cheeseburgers today. Something like that. Maybe a small joke.
I'm going to say this. If he loses, he's not making any jokes, Zeke.
No.
We're not getting any We're not getting any jokes.
No.
Probably not. But I see a better chance of that happening, like him just mentioning the word cheeseburger during a post-game press conference than to eat a cheeseburger, I would say.
Sure.
I don't think either is happening, because they have to win in order for him to eat a cheeseburger. I'm just giving away my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, you really are. All right, Adam, I'll throw it over to you. What do you have after these prop bets?
Hey, I didn't vote yet.
Oh, sorry, CJ. I'm sorry for the impromptu. Go ahead.
When I said you were very generous, I was lying. No, I'm kidding. So let me tell you something. Do I think he eats a cheeseburger? I do not. But as far as saying it, because remember, the bet says not that he says it.
No, it says that he says it.
Wait, hold on. I thought you said if anyone in the media said it.
He has to say the words.
So you got confused with my clarifying question.
What if he's mic'd up? If he's mic'd up.
If he's mic'd up.
What are you talking about? The and an NFL Films thing comes out 2 weeks later, people are gonna get this massive refund. No. This is the actual Fox broadcast. We're not gonna sneak mics onto this guy to try to get him to slip a word. No.
You can overhear players on a Fox broadcast. I've seen it before. You could read. Is reading lips a possibility?
No, this is not a possibility. Adam, you trying to tell us something? Are you really trying to push for this particular bet?
No, I'm just thinking I'm just thinking about the limits to this bet.
Fair enough.
If he says it and you can read his lips and you see I'm eating a cheeseburger if we win or something like that.
Yeah.
So fair enough. I don't think he eats a cheeseburger, and There is a small part of me that really believes if he loses, he'll say a reporter will ask him because there's always that one stupid reporter.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, Andy, you gonna eat a cheeseburger? And he'll be like, no cheeseburgers for me. I'm Andy Reid. So yeah, I think he does say it because the stupid reporter will like coax him to say it.
Okay. All right, Adam, throw it over to you.
All right. So the one that we had was how long will the national anthem be?
Ooh.
Over or under 2 minutes?
Over.
I think we were under last year, correct? Or no, was it over?
I don't remember.
It was really close last year.
It was
like
incredibly
down
close.
to the because there were a bunch of people who had that bet that were watching the Super Bowl with me, and they're like, "Come on!"
Actually, you know what? I think it just hit the over last year. Like it just hit it, but it was very close. Traditionally, it goes over. Do we know who the singer is this year?
I'm looking that up right now.
I was about to say.
Chris Stapleton.
Oh,
that's going over.
Over.
Hit
over.
that
Over.
Hit the over.
If you listen to Tennessee Whiskey or any song, rather.
Yeah, that's what that is.
I mean, listen, Chris Stapleton, he has some songs where he sings fast, like on Arkansas, different projects like that. But as someone who listens to Chris Stapleton, he is as melodic and as drawn out as they come, and for the best. Like he's a great artist, but this thing is going to be over if it's Chris Stapleton. 100%
over.
Yeah, it's over.
That's such an upset if it doesn't happen.
That's free money.
If it's under, then that will be one of the greatest upsets.
As he's going to have this thing as hard out of
Super Bowl history.
It hits that. No, if Chris Stapleton, it is 100% going to be over. I am telling you guys right now, that is free money. Bet that. I'm not a betting man. Bet that it will hit the over.
All right. So I wanted to move to our next segment of the show, which is favorite Super Bowl foods. So I just wanted to go around the table, just give your go-to, like one thing that you just can't enjoy the Super Bowl without. It could be anything.
Is beer an option?
I don't know if we're allowed to mention that on air, right?
Yeah, you can mention. I mean, I'm 21 years of age. It's legal.
CJ's not legal.
Okay.
Wow, way to out me, Adam.
Yeah. And also,
Jeez.
who's at Dean? I'm at Bryant University. This is more than fun.
Oh.
It's something that you have to talk about. But no, in reality, I'm a big fan of kind of like cheesy kind of stuff. I'm not a big chips guy. But if like always like some good pizza. If you got some mozzarella sticks, since I've been going out to stuff more recently, I love some good old pretzel bites. Just any of those big kind of like stuff, really kind of stuffed foods. I like that. I like that stuff.
So like 9-layer dip, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not really a big dip guy, but sure.
All right, I'll throw it. CJ, I'll throw it to you.
Huh. Now, whenever I watch Super Bowl with my dad, he does make like a lot of food and stuff for that, but I'm gonna keep it short. I like ribs. You got that tender, like fall off the bone ribs. You just get yourself a plate of those, and you're laughing.
I'm crying tears of joy right here. You gave me an idea. You just started a tradition for me.
Good. No, when you have that Super Bowl party, you better have ribs. I swear to whatever God there is.
Well, you know what? At this Super Bowl party, I'm requiring everyone bring one thing. So I think I know what I'm having you bring.
Actually, CJ, you make a good point. Not ribs, but I forgot to mention this: steak tips.
Oh yeah,
steak
Adam.
Adam,
we will
solo
later.
What?
We will discuss that later.
All right. Zeke.
Oh, that is
your pick.
It's a tough call to just kind of narrow it down to one because there's a couple.
Well, what's going on your plate?
Okay. Yeah, give us a few. Give us a few.
We gotta
take us through your Super Bowl
with some cocktail dip. Yeah.
Whoa.
We got some potato chips and onion dip as well.
Sure.
Onion.
And then you gotta go classic chips, like tortilla chips with the 3-piece option: salsa, queso, guacamole.
Wow. I mean,
I have a diverse. Listen,
I'll give it up to you.
I'm a man of food. I've said this before already earlier on in the show. I like to eat, and when I'm gonna be eating at the Super Bowl, I'm doing it right.
Fair enough.
That's like part of the Super Bowl experience. Is the food.
Yeah.
If you're not eating at the Super Bowl, then you're not watching. Are you even watching the Super Bowl?
It's Super Bowl parties. It's a crap Thanksgiving. Like you're literally eating just like
Junk food.
Yeah, it's junk food galore. Like that, and that's the beauty of it all. It's
The American dream, baby.
Oh, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Maybe throw in a buffalo chicken dip. Maybe.
It's amazing.
If you have
I'll allow
room,
it.
maybe throw in a buffalo chicken dip. Yeah.
All
I'll
right,
allow it.
Tuck, have I thrown it to you yet?
No, not yet. Whatchamacallit? You know, the usual, the chips, the dip, the salsa, the guac, the queso. There's also the pizza, but who could forget the wings? Adam knows where I'm coming from. The wings are the most important thing for me. Every time we have a Super Bowl party, we can't have it without the wings because those are the best part of it. So when I think of the Super Bowl and food, I think of the wings.
All right, listen, man. That was my pick, and I'm going to double down on that. Listen, if you are watching the Super Bowl and you don't have wings, it's like
I don't even eat wings that much, but like you have to have wings at a Super Bowl party.
It has to be there. Like,
I think it's in the Constitution. Yes,
it's like turkey at Thanksgiving. You have to have it.
Exactly.
You have to have
it. And you got to have so a lot of people have different. Some people just have them without dipping it into anything. Some people have it with ranch. Me, so I just recently started dipping my wings in blue cheese, and ever since I tried it, when I first tried it, I can't do wings without blue cheese. Like it has to be there.
Sure.
It just has to be there. And then, so call me basic with the wings, but I also have Doritos. Nacho cheese Doritos are like my favorite chip of all time.
Basic.
I got to do that.
No, basic.
It is basic, but I like what I like, and I don't know. I like a lot of things, and all of these picks have been really good, and I would probably have all of them at this crap Thanksgiving. But that is, as I mentioned before, that is the American dream. Sure. I just have a bare minimum for what you need at your Super Bowl party: wings, Doritos.
Yeah.
And then
talking basic buffalo wings or like barbecue wings. Like what flavors are we talking here? Sweet and sour, maybe like Thai sweet chili, something like that. I don't know.
I'm a buffalo guy, and I'll eat anything, but there at least has to be buffalo. But as I said, if you're hosting a Super Bowl party, there are certain things you need. You can't just buy for yourself. So I usually get some barbecue, whatever. I'll text in the Super Bowl group chat and be like, hey, what flavor wings do we like? And then we get votes. Yeah. So I'll go multiple, but my favorite is definitely buffalo. Like that's like my slam dunk favorite. Have to watch a game with buffalo wings.
I respect the pick.
Another one that I have that hasn't been mentioned yet, taquitos.
Oh yeah, dude, those are nice.
So for those of you who don't know what taquitos are, so it's kind of a tortilla rolled up. You roll up some cheese. There's sometimes chicken, some sort of meat, and spices. It's really good. It's like, it used to be my all-time favorite snack whenever I got home, and absolutely my Super Bowl thing. Yeah, besides that, I would also say pretzel bites.
Yeah.
With some beer cheese.
Pretzel bites slap.
Oh yeah, those things. I know you like them.
You say beer on air. Like, Adam, it's our radio station. We're good.
I know. I was like half joking too.
I hope.
And of course, if you're of age, it's good to have a few drinks. You know, loosen up, be at a Super Bowl party.
Yeah. Speaking of Super Bowl parties, I want to mention this, Adam. I know the NFL's been expanding their schedule, and they're after adding a 17th game, it only seems like a matter of time before we do eventually get another week added to the season. I do want to say this: if the NFL were to add an extra week to the NFL season, and basically do what they're doing now, to where they're pushing games back further in the schedule into the spring, what could be really interesting just think about this. If the Super Bowl was pushed back one further week, it would be held during President's Day weekend, and that Monday would be a national holiday, and people would have that day off from work. Just think about how more chaotic Super Bowl parties could be. So I wasn't a huge fan of the NFL expanding to 17 games. I wasn't a fan really of them expanding.
You mean 18?
No. When they expanded to 17, I wasn't really too big a fan of that. I'm a huge fan of them expanding to 18 games if that is a possibility. Now, don't spoil this for me. And then what I don't want to see happen is they put it at the beginning of the season. That would ruin my day. But if they put it at the end of the season and push the Super Bowl back further, I did just want to say that I think Super Bowl parties could get taken to a whole nother level.
I have an alternate solution for that.
What's that?
Instead of 18 games, 17 games, 2 bye weeks, player safety. I think George Kittle actually suggested this on a podcast appearance. Where he was like, okay, 17 game season, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Add an extra bye week in there, so that way you have more primetime games, more games that everyone is watching. Kind of filters
Everyone's
a lot
healthy.
of viewership in.
Yeah.
You get player health up. And then you also get that same benefit of Super Bowl weekend, President's Day weekend, and that Monday.
Hey man, I'll take it 100%. If it just means that any way we can push the Super Bowl back one more week, I am all for it. Seriously, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, and as you said, if the league were smart, which I'd like to believe they are.
Not really, no.
I'd like to believe they are.
Adam.
Now, I'd like to believe money grows on trees, but that doesn't make it true.
Adam, I'll say this. I don't believe the league is smart, but I believe the league wants to make money. And if they are interested in doing that, then it will happen. Yeah,
well, in some ways those can go hand in hand, being smart and looking for money. And that would make money. I don't need a game. I don't need an NFL game in the summertime. I just don't. I'm having way too much fun anyways. We're on the beach. We're enjoying ourselves. The weather's nice.
Wow, look at Adam. He's living the life.
we don't need a game in the summer. What we need is games in the wintertime when the weather is horrible and we have some other things to look forward to.
Yeah.
And to get the day off after the one obstacle that we get for Super Bowl Sunday, to be able to eliminate that.
Yeah.
How could you not want to do that? And plus, the NFL is getting more business by doing that.
And people always have always said, hey, the day after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday. And you'd be able to do that if you did this. You would be able to do it. And listen, the U.S. wouldn't have to, I'm not even going to get into politics. You wouldn't have to pass any bills or sign any laws. It would just fall into place. It would be perfect. As Homelander said, it was perfect.
Down to the last minute detail.
Perfect.
I love that quote.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful quote.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to change gears, go on to our next topic, and I wanted to go around the table and touch on each person's favorite Super Bowl memories. All right. Brian, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I got a couple. So it's a favorite of mine. It was also a not so great moment. It was back in 2016, 2017. The Patriots are down to the Atlanta Falcons 28-3. And it's listen, I'm gonna say it. This story seems basic at first, but let me explain to you the backstory. So along with being a football fan, I never played tackle football, but I played flag football growing up at a local indoor soccer field, and I did that for a couple of years. Once I aged out of it, I got a job as a ref at this place. And the day of Super Bowl 51 actually happened to be my first day as a referee. And that day I went in, I met with the referee at the time. I met with the guy at the time. Actually, Adam, you would remember him. It's Jim Mulgrew, who is an umpire for some of our sports. So I worked with Jim, and I got my whistle and I was just running around the field calling the game. Pretty low key games, nothing really happened. But what did me in is the fact that I had this metal whistle, and I didn't realize that to just whistle a play dead, you can kind of just whistle into the thing softly. So instead of just doing a quick whoop, I was full on blowing into this whistle and unknowingly blowing my eardrums out at the same time. So at the end of the game and at the end of my workday, my ears are ringing constantly. And I get back home and I'm watching the game and I'm just like, man, I really hope this goes away. And it wasn't. And the Patriots are down to the Falcons. They're getting killed. And I'm just like, all right, I have a splitting headache right now. I'm going to go upstairs to bed. And I go up in my room and I shut the lights off. And I literally say to myself, and I wanted to watch the game all the way through, but I was actually dying. Tell me you didn't miss it. Let me tell you how it went. I just couldn't, Adam. The sound was just bugging me. It wasn't the fact that I didn't want to watch the game. I was just so in pain. And literally, I'm sitting up there in bed, and I have the ESPN app open. I'm just like watching like the plays unfold kind of on that little like spreadsheet thing. And basically, I said to myself, all right, if they score a touchdown on this drive right here, I'll go down and I'll watch the rest of the game. I'll push through it, and I'll just like, see them try in this game, because who knows if this is Brady's last game ever, because we didn't know at that point. And I was like, all right, they score a touchdown on this drive, they'll do it. And on that drive, it was the pass to James White for that first touchdown that cut it to like 28-9. So as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, I'm going to come down. I went downstairs, and the rest is history. I was losing my mind.
The missed extra point by Gostkowski on that touchdown was a bit of a turn off, but
that almost sent me back up to my room. like seriously, they got that touchdown. I was like, oh, let's go. Like, this is cool. And then Gostkowski just like shanks it right. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to come downstairs. Maybe I'm just going to stay upstairs. But I made the right decision. I got to witness pretty much the rest of the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, and it was a great memory to have.
All right, Talk.
Oh.
What? Oh, do you want me to? I'll go to here. I'll go to Zeke.
Yeah, let's keep it here, and then we'll go to you guys.
All right. So set the scene. It's about 2015 in February. I am at my dad's apartment. We're watching the game as a collective.
What game? Which
Patriots Seahawks.
Oh.
And Seahawks are down to the I think it was about the 2-yard line.
Yep.
And I'm like,
it's over.
Now, I was, this was around the time where I was always like Patriots fan, 100%. No doubt in my mind, I was a Patriots fan. But if I had to choose a team out of the NFC, it was the Seattle Seahawks. I was playing with I played with them all the time.
On Madden?
On Madden on my 3DS.
That's awesome.
So I'd play with like Marshawn Lynch, and I think Matt Hasselbeck was the quarterback for those ones.
Great.
I was like, oh, okay. So they were my team out of the NFC, the Seahawks. But, Seahawks were driving down. They're at the 2-yard line. I'm like, they're going to hand off to Marshawn Lynch. The Patriots are going to lose again in the Super Bowl. Again. This is horrible. Seeing that interception at the goal line, my heart skipped like 2 beats.
Zeke,
I think I fell to the floor.
Zeke, I think I blacked out during that interception because I don't even remember the play itself. I just remember celebrating afterwards. Like, I don't even remember like Russell throwing the ball. I remember the replays. I don't remember like actually seeing it all unfold. I remember the curse catch. I remember getting down to the 1-yard line, and then all of a sudden I just like the next thing I know, I'm celebrating. I don't remember the actual play.
During the like entire time that ball was in the air before it landed softly into the hands of Malcolm Butler, my heart did not beat.
No.
It was just still. Like, I think I might have been legally dead at that point. But the second I saw Butler, ba-boom, 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 right back. Like, I was on the ground. I was like, actually like heaving. But it was a fantastic moment. Yeah. Fantastic moment.
Adam, but what about you?
All right, so I want to go last, but I wanted to throw it to Tuck. We got a lot of Patriots fans in this room. I just wanted to mix it up, give it to the Ravens fan. What say you, Tuck? Tuck, you're muted.
Tuck, you're muted, bud.
I know I am. I'm using profanity. Thank God.
Whoa, that's not very nice.
That's not nice, Tuck.
I have half a mind to say 52 or 46. I have half a mind to say it, but I'm not.
I mean, okay.
I have my favorite memory is Super Bowl 47, and it's not even the first 3 touchdowns Joe Flacco threw. We're coming out of halftime. The score is 21-6. Everything's going off right. I'm still a little nervous because I'm thinking, okay, San Francisco, if we go 4-and-out, San Francisco gets the ball, they score. Still a close game, so I'm a little bit worried. They kick the ball off. It gets to Jacoby Jones, and oh my God, the rest is history. Boom, he gets through the middle. He hits nothing but pay dirt, does the Ray Lewis dance, and oh my God, it was so exciting. I was like 28-6. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a slaughter. This game is over. It wasn't over then, but at that moment in time, I was just so excited and exuberated to be a Ravens fan, and thank God we managed to hang on and win that game. But that, as far as memories go, that is my favorite Super Bowl memory.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great game itself. That was probably the first Super Bowl that I probably really remember being engaged in. I wasn't too much of a sports fan growing up, but I remember watching like the Giants games and stuff like that. But that game was the one I was most engaged with. One thing I remember specifically from that game too is Tuck, is that was Randy Moss's last ever game in the NFL.
Yep.
I forgot he was on the 49ers for that.
Yeah, he was on the.
I keep forgetting too.
The NFL. It's crazy.
All right, CJ.
There's a few, but even though it wasn't the most entertaining game, Super Bowl 53. Yeah, you see, here's the thing. If you were a fan of the Rams or the Pats, that game wasn't boring. It was stressful.
Yeah.
You know, both offenses locked in a stalemate. You know, you can't take your eyes away from the TV. I mean, at least that's how it was for me. Everyone says it was boring, but most Pats and Rams fans that I know just said it was stressful.
Oh, yeah.
And you knew whoever gets the first touchdown wins. And there were many points that, you know, made me worried, like the ball bounces off Hogan's hands for a Corey Littleton interception. I thought Goff had like a wide open Brandon Cooks, you know, then Jason McCourty turns on the Jets.
That was awesome.
And then I see Michelle get a touchdown, and I was like, oh, this isn't over. I don't have a good feeling. And no, it's like, we just got to stop them. Rams march right down the field, and Gilmore calls game. And then, you know, we give it back to the Rams. And I remember how the announcers were talking about how Johnny Hecker, I mean, not him, who was their kicker?
Zerline.
Yeah, Zerline. How that was Zerline's like career year, and he hadn't missed since like week 8. And he just shanked it. And I was shocked because you and I was worried. In my head, I was preparing myself for he makes it, Rams recover the onside kick and get a touchdown. Because remember, the Miami Miracle happened that year.
So
and then he shanked it, and I was like, oh my God. And I can't remember, I still have like the film of like me reacting to it. And the best part is I went to an awful place to an awful high school in a hexscape called Smyrna, Delaware, which is crawling with Eagles fans, or as Obi-Wan Kenobi puts it, a wretched hive of scum and villainy. So I roll up with my Gronk jersey. I'm like, oh, remember last year? Remember now? Well, I'm back. Mother bleeps.
Yeah,
I can say that. Take that, FCC.
No, I will say.
That was mine.
Yeah. I'll say this. Like, the Super Bowl 53 has a weird place in my heart because as a Pats fan, you kind of knew that was likely it. I mean, at the time, we didn't know Brady was going to play. What was it, like another 3 to 4 years? It wasn't really known, and even if he came back, there was just something about that game. There was like a finality to it, where it was like, what? Brady kind of led them through the end. That last game, I give a lot to Belichick for that last Super Bowl. That is a Bill Belichick Super Bowl if there ever was one. So, and it just felt like, you know what? Belichick got Brady in the league. Then he took over and was like that juggernaut for like that, you know, middle run. And then at the end, Belichick gets him over the hump. And that was the narrative that I had for a while. But yeah, just a lot of other good memories. Remember that was the only Super Bowl parade I went to.
I went to that one too.
Yeah, that was a great day. I ran into Adam at that one. He was coming from Gordon at the time.
Which? Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
53. We were on the opposite sides of the street, and then once the duck boats went through, the cop let me go onto the other side of the street and meet up with you, and then we ran to Beatrice. It was a crazy day.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
and like I went to everything for that. I went to their because I had a feeling it was one of their last. I went to their rally. I went to my first Patriots game ever, and so far my only one was the divisional round against the Chargers where they blew them out of the water.
Wow.
And listen, that's like just a side note for that Super Bowl run. It will never be looked at as one of the best Patriots teams ever, but it's one of the most, can I say it, bad.
What are you trying to say?
One of the most badass Patriots teams I've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that was okay to say.
Yes. Adam.
One of the most badass Patriots teams out there. Listen, there's always been that narrative. Teams that lose the Super Bowl almost never go back, and they certainly don't win it. And that team had to overcome that, and they used it as a chip on their shoulder. Remember that one time where Edelman is mic'd up during the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
One of the best games ever. Brady threw a touchdown to Philip Dorsett, and on the sideline, Edelman's yelling at him, saying, "You're too old. You're too bleeping old."
Yeah.
It was awesome. But all right, let me tell you about my favorite Super Bowl memory.
This kid gets on radio and doesn't know how to act. He's asking me all these questions. It's what a rookie.
Yeah.
Come on, Adam.
Just swear like the rest of us. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
I'll be dropping F-bombs, S-bombs.
Adam.
I'll be saying all kinds of colorful language.
One thing I will say.
He sounds like a fifth grader right now.
Looking back on it, I am very surprised that Patriots team that put up 13 points in the Super Bowl was able to beat the 2018 Chiefs.
Oh my God, yeah.
In Arrowhead.
Well, I mean, for me, that was the last time Brady looked like Brady in a Patriots uniform. That next season, he didn't look like the Tom Brady we all knew. The last time we saw, Tom Brady balling out for the Pats was that AFC Championship game. So that's what was really special about that game too.
That season has a special place in my heart. I wouldn't trade it for any of the other rings or any of the ones that we could have had between Super Bowl 57, Super Bowl 42, 46, the undefeated year. I couldn't. All right, but I want to get to my Super Bowl memory. Listen, so back in 2013, it's the Super Bowl 48 run for the Denver Broncos. They made the Super Bowl. They got through Tom Brady, lauded as arguably the best offense in NFL history, led by Peyton Manning, who threw 55 touchdown passes. They get demolished. They got crucified by that Seahawks team. And me, 13-year-old Adam, said,
and 13-year-old Adam, for you guys that don't know, 13-year-old Adam was something else. Because and I'm not gonna lie, at the same time, 12-year-old Brian was equally as bad. We were twerps.
We were some weird kids.
We were weird kids.
We matured.
And we didn't really mature. We just got older.
We got older. And we started a podcast and got some of this stuff on air.
Maybe we're not that mature after all.
All right. So little 13-year-old Adam made the Super Bowl prediction right after, saying, "I want the Seahawks next year. I want that suit." Seeing how bad they were and being the Broncos were and being the Brady zealot that I am, I wanted to see Tom Brady do what Peyton Manning couldn't. And so fast forward, you get through the regular season. Both teams finish as number one seeds. The Patriots, they had a tough time in the divisional round, but they ripped right through the AFC Championship. The Seahawks, on the other hand, they fell down big to the Packers. And the rest of my family and everyone else at the party, I was with some family friends. Everyone was happy. They're like, okay, the Packers will be an easy matchup. I wanted the Seahawks. I was the only one there who was upset. And when everyone else was upset seeing the Seahawks come back, I was happy. I'm like, let's go. We're getting this. This is what I wanted. A challenge, a game for the ages.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I hope you're happy, Adam. You got what you wanted. I'm like, I did get what I wanted. This is going to be. And going into the Super Bowl. So as a famous man once said, who is a fictional character, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Looking at that Super Bowl, the Patriots fell down by 10 points. Brady threw an interception at one point. It looked like the Seahawks were starting to take control going into that fourth quarter. Then the Patriots came all the way back. It was one of Brady's best games that I've ever seen on a big stage.
Yeah.
It was incredible at that point. And it was all summed up in one play where Brady goes to Edelman, and Edelman gets clocked. He gets his stuff rocked by Cam Chancellor. And instead of just falling over and watching Cam do his stupid little that stupid little celebration, he stayed up. That guy stayed up and he moved another 15 yards. Now he was ultimately ruled down, but to me it was the effort that counted. It was, we're not going to be intimidated by you. We were met with your energy, but we're going to match it. And they came all the way back. They took the lead with about 3 minutes left. Then that one faithful drive where the Seahawks came all the way down. There was the Kurtz catch where they got lucky. That was a lucky catch, lucky play where they wound up inside the 5-yard line. They get to the half-yard line. They didn't run it with Marshawn Lynch, and Russell Wilson throws the ball, interception, and the Patriots win it. Wow. That was little 14-year-old Adam at this point was, man, he probably aged about a year, but
took a couple years off your life.
The greatest thing, that is what got me into football, making that preseason prediction way before the season, and then seeing it come to light, seeing Brady do his thing, and seeing that great Patriots team. That's my all-time favorite Super Bowl of all time.
I mean, those are some great Super Bowl memories. Obviously, just looking back on it, being a Pats fan and seeing Tom Brady, since that's a recurring theme, go through, all of these Super Bowls, it's crazy because when I started watching football and really getting into it, I was too young to really see those first three. So I knew the narrative behind Brady. I knew he was a Hall of Famer. But the question of the greatest of all time really wasn't a discussion up until, that fourth Super Bowl. It was like, oh, can he catch Montana? And then when he did, it was, even once he had 4 Super Bowls, people would say, well, Montana was perfect in the big game. He was undefeated and he played incredible. And it was like, all right, some people are still going to give that edge to Joe. And once Brady got that 5th and then the 6th and then obviously the 7th with Tampa, it's crazy that it's not even close anymore. And just to see that narrative with a player change, not even amongst Tuck, stay with me on this. I'm not even just talking from personal opinion, Tuck. I'm not even talking about me saying like, oh, Brady's the greatest of all time. But just the way that the culture and the narrative and the way people react to it, the fact that it's so universally just like this now, that's just crazy to me as to how quickly it changed.
It's not universal.
Tuck, I'm not saying that it's universal, but and listen, I might disagree on you with that.
No,
it's universal.
I showed Adam what I mean by that. I showed Adam a clip of what somebody else said.
Mike Francesa, I know what you meant, and
yeah.
I told one of my professors who's the voice of the Patriots, and he saw it, and he thought his name's John Rook, and he's the he's the PA voice.
Oh, I think meant like it was like Bob Sosi or something.
Actually, I have a picture with Bob Sosi.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we actually had Bob Sosi in for a class.
Why didn't you tell me this?
Yeah, I got to ask him a few questions. Actually, it was great.
Tell me next time.
This guy.
I had Tony Maserati in. I got to ask him a few questions.
That's cool.
Yeah, Dean has a couple connections, so it's pretty fun sometimes.
Thank God it was in that class. I would have given Maserati a piece of my mind. He's so obnoxious. And so's Felger, too. Both of them can just rotten where together, I guess.
Yeah. Look, I don't know.
But yeah,
that was a great Super Bowl.
Adam, as I mentioned, the narrative with Brady flipped a lot after these most recent Super Bowls. I want to ask you, are we getting into the point where we're going to start picking our teams now?
So we have a Super Bowl edition of the fan box. We're gonna get through them quickly.
Okay, I do want to make a point real quick here, and it's the fact that with the way narratives were able to be written about Tom Brady, you're going to be able to start to make a case like that with Patrick Mahomes, depending on how the Super Bowl goes. Because I will say, if Patrick Mahomes goes and wins this second Super Bowl, this puts him in unique territory. He at this point has more Super Bowl rings than Drew Brees, more than Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be the question as where does he rank all time? So he's a great talent, and it's just going to be really interesting to see how that's going to work out. So we'll discuss that further in the predictions, but Adam, I'll throw it back to you.
All right. So we got to give our Super Bowl memories. So what did you guys think? what were your best Super Bowl memories? So, welcome to the Super Bowl edition of the Fumblerooski fan box, where we post a question filter every Monday, or in this case, Thursday. And you can respond with hot takes, questions, and more. And we will discuss it and give you a shout out on our podcast. Respond to next week's fan box question to be featured on our show. All right. So, question of the week, or of our Super Bowl special: what's your favorite Super Bowl memory? So, we had a lot of Malcolm Butler interception votes, with Ian Mulhern saying Malcolm Butler interception. Brendan 99882211. He doesn't have a last name in his bio, so that's his username. Seahawks passing instead of. All right, relax. Seahawks passing instead of giving it to Marshawn and Owen Van Zlack. And this one doesn't narrow it down that much. He said goal line interception, but that could also mean the James Harrison pick at the goal line. That was a pick six.
Oh, both of them.
And then the other one was Ethan D, who said either the Malcolm Butler pick or watching 28-3 at my uncle's. So we kind of really covered that pretty thoroughly. The Super Bowl 49, arguably the best Super Bowl of all time. Going on to our next set of questions. Responses, Ethan D, Diego Huertas, and Nate Moats all said 28-3. So Super Bowl 51. So that one was, listen, that was one of the better Super Bowls of all time. I will give you that. Just the only reason why I don't have it as like being top 5, let's say, is because for most of it, I mean, I was doing laundry during a big portion of it. It didn't really start to get interesting until the fourth quarter. So it was a great Super Bowl, and the largest comeback in Super Bowl history by a mile. The next closest is there's several that are 10 points. So it was a great Super Bowl, and I understand why people like it, but also. And CJ, you can explain this one more in context, but Secret Weapon Consulting, run by your dad, said Ty having someone skip school and going to the parade for the fog, confetti guns, lights, and etc. after the 28-3 game.
I do want to. So yeah. So what my dad watching games with him is a really interesting experience, because he has lights and music and funny sound effects that he plays. That was after 28-3, but after the Super Bowl, after 53, I got to take a day off school because we went to go see the victory parade.
Wait, so
Boston.
He said 28-3.
So
he said tie between those two.
Yeah, it's a tie between the celebration of coming back for 28-3 and going to the parade.
All right. Ian Mulhern also said Jermaine Kearse tip catch. That is one of the great plays that has been forgotten in Super Bowl history. One of the luckiest catches, and it's forgotten because of what happened 2 plays later.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Same thing with the Julio Jones catch.
Oh yeah, then that got upstaged by Edelman.
Catch.
Yeah. I mean, since we're on the point of amazing catches, I want to say this. As a Pats fan, the helmet catch is definitely something that is etched in that it's one of the negative sides of that Patriots dynasty. It's you know what? You had the perfect season taken away because of a miraculous catch by David Tyree. I do want to say it was an incredible play for Eli to get out of the pocket. But if you're going to tell me what is the better play by Eli Manning, it's not the David Tyree play. It is the throw to Mario Manningham.
Yeah.
And listen,
yeah, I'd agree.
Because that play to Tyree, that's pure luck. And the fact that that O-line didn't take him down is insane. But if you want to talk about, in my opinion, it's the greatest throw of Eli Manning's career. I'll say this as a Pats fan. It is that throw to Mario Manningham. He has never had a better throw than that.
Absolute dot.
I just want to say that. That was just something I was thinking of.
Yeah, and actually speaking of catches, of great catches in the Super Bowl, Chris Kostich said Edelman's catch, but that's biased. So we're all biased with our own opinions,
of course. Yes.
And this is a very subjective topic. But Edelman's catch, you talk about more luck. That catch, I mean, it did require a lot of focus to just dive in and catch it right
Luck.
before it hits the ground.
Luck.
But that was a big part of that comeback. Now,
Oh,
my personal belief is that they would have won anyways because their momentum was just on their side. It was they only had 10 yards to go. They had another down. Momentum was on the Patriots side. I think they win anyways, but it was still an important play. And my point is strictly argumentative. Like it's just arguable.
I mean, I don't know if they would have won anyways. It was a huge part in that drive, and I think, getting the challenge, getting everything to go their way, that was a big part in it too. Because, I believe Atlanta lost the timeout because of that, and that, that impacted them a lot in that game. And, I really don't know if that goes the other way. So, it depends, Adam.
It's a big time hypothetical, but
Sure.
Also that timeout. I mean, the Patriots needed to stop to manage the clock more than the Falcons did because they were the ones who were down big. It's all arguable. I'm just making my argument. All from momentum. It was all on their side. I just think if they even if they don't make that catch, they get it on the next down. But we'll never know. It's one of the great what ifs. Cindy Medeiros said, I attended the big game in 1996. So Patriots Packers. So Patriots Packers. Yeah, we don't.
Brett Favre.
Yep, Brett Favre.
Desmond Howard.
How about the entire Packers?
Reggie White.
Special teams.
Reggie White was a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
My grandfather actually, he went to the Super Bowl he went to a couple of them. One was when Washington beat Denver in that blowout game, and the other one was when Montana beat Esiason and the Bengals. I forgot which one it was, but he told me that he was in the elevator one time with Reggie White and O.J. Simpson.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, it's quite
characters.
Yeah, quite the cast of characters in that elevator.
That's an interesting one. All right. Isaac Zonana and Eli Turner and Zachary Stilson all commented on Super Bowl 50. Isaac Zonana said Von Miller MVP because Fangio is defensive coordinator for the Fins. Can you tell he's a Dolphins fan? Eli Turner said Von Miller's forced fumble in Super Bowl 50. What a great, unbelievable performance by that Broncos defense. One of the few examples left. One of the few occurrences of defenses, just solely defenses winning championships at this point. It's become a lot about balance that wins championships, but that is one of the few exceptions that are left. That 2015 Broncos defense. Zachary Stilson said dancing to the Super Bowl 50 halftime show.
Oh,
yeah.
Bruno Mars, Beyonce, and Coldplay.
Yeah, it was a decent cast. Decent cast of characters. It wasn't my favorite.
Pretty good cast.
It was good. It wasn't my favorite. It was. I don't know.
Not the best performance, but cast, it's pretty good.
Yeah, cast is good, but the performance, like how it wound up going, it could have been executed a little better.
A little mid.
All right. And Mallory Kleppel said Chiefs fourth quarter 21-point comeback versus 49ers with 6 minutes left. So it's important to understand that. So it wasn't a
20
while it wasn't a 21-point comeback, it was a 10-point comeback.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a good game, but
yeah.
What's that rustling, by the way?
I don't know. It's someone moving around. It's not us.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's me, guys. Sorry.
We caught him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just clearing off my desk. Excuse me.
Mute yourself while you do that.
All right.
Look,
Wish there was a way to louden myself.
There you go.
Wish there was a way to louden
that.
myself, Adam.
I'm trying to get through these fan box responses. All right. Yeah, it was a good comeback, and it was obviously Patrick Mahomes' first Super Bowl victory. And I mean, he's gonna if he plays like he did in that Super Bowl, I don't know if they're winning. That's the problem. because it's this Eagles team is a much tougher opponent than that 49ers team was. And I don't think if Mahomes struggles at any point during this game, then they don't have a shot. They're not winning because this Eagles team just has that much talent top to bottom. Our last response was Daniel Blasiak, who said Jalen Hurts made the game-winning touchdown and won the Super Bowl. So someone has a crystal ball and is looking into the future.
I think they see some Philly part 2 coming their way. So that'll be something to watch. Adam, what do we have now after the Fumblerooski fan box?
All right. So
the good stuff.
To cap off our show, we have Super Bowl predictions. Final Super Bowl predictions. We're going to go around the table and give who's going to win and scores. And how about on top of that, let's give our Super Bowl MVPs too. All right. Brian, how about you lead us off?
So, Adam, this has been a tough one because, to be frank, as a Pats fan, I don't like the Eagles or the Chiefs. I just, not even in terms of the way that the teams are made, both fan bases they just kill me. Like it's horrible to see. Frankly, if both teams could lose the Super Bowl, I'd love to see it. It's not, there's no clear-cut team this year where I say like, oh, like if the Bengals were in it, easy, I'd go for Joe Burrow. If the Rams were back in it, I'd say, you know what? I'd like to, it'd be cool to see Matthew Stafford or someone else get another ring. But at this point, there's not really any team that you're truly gunning for here. And both teams actually have won fairly recently. So you're going to see someone, potentially start a dynasty here. So I've been saying this to some people around at Bryant, and you wouldn't believe it. But as a Pats fan, I think I want the Philadelphia Eagles to win this football game. And I'll tell you why. Because if Philly wins, they're only going to burn down the city of Philadelphia. However, if the Chiefs win, we may have another global pandemic, which I'm really hoping doesn't happen because that's what's happened the last time those two teams have won. And frankly, the city of Philadelphia, they had a good run. Zeke, I don't know about you, but, long living city. If the Eagles win, they can burn it all down. I don't really care. They can celebrate, grease up those light poles, do the best you can, but they're not making it through a second Super Bowl. If KC wins one, I wouldn't mind it for Patrick Mahomes. It'd be good for his legacy. I think that he's a good quarterback and deserves it. But from a legitimate standpoint, though, I've been discounting the Eagles all year. I thought they were a paper tiger. I did not think they were legit at all. And then I saw Jalen Hurts go down, and all of a sudden, my opinions changed. I realized how important he is to that team, and the fact that he's back basically at full strength and performing. I was able to just see him gut his way through the NFC playoffs, regardless of him having an easy time to get through. He still went toe-to-toe with that 49ers defense, which was better than the one that got him to that Super Bowl, and they demolished them. They demolished the Giants. They've just been a wrecking crew the entire year. I seriously got to give the Philadelphia Eagles the edge in this game because not only do they have that, they also have a killer defense as well. And if they can find a way to potentially not shut down Travis Kelce, but slow him down and potentially maybe only get him one touchdown reception, keep him to a smaller kind of role in that offense, I think they have a really good shot at getting the dub.
All right.
I'll throw it to you since keep it in studio.
Wait, so
Give your score.
Oh,
right?
Do I have to
score, winner, score, and Super Bowl MVP.
Ooh, okay. So the score. I will say this. While I've been saying that Philly has been running through teams, Kansas City is the number one seed in the AFC for a reason. I think they're going to put up a fight. And I had to give it a score prediction. I think it'll be somewhat high scoring. I'll say 34-28 Philly. That's what I'm thinking it's going to be around. KC's going to give it a good fight. They'll get some touchdowns on the board, obviously. But if you have to tell me who's going to get that final punch to win it all, I mean, maybe that prediction of Jalen Hurts' game-winning touchdown is correct. Who knows? But I'm going to go Philly in this one, and keep it like that for the Super Bowl MVP. I got Jalen Hurts for MVP because he's been the MVP for this team all year long.
All right, Zeke.
See, I'm a little conflicted here, right?
Yeah.
Again, as a Pats fan, I don't want either team to win. I do have a little bit more like rooting interest in the Chiefs than Brian does. In terms of college football, I'm a Missouri Tigers fan. It's a long story, but they're aggressively mid every year. Anyway, so I know a bunch of people in that fan base who are also Chiefs fans. So I have a little bit more at stake if I don't say the Chiefs, but I really think that the biggest difficulty for me actually choosing the Chiefs is I don't trust their secondary against Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. I just don't. You have a bunch of rookies who have played solid. They played okay, but when you have that real top end, high end talent, you've seen the Chiefs safeties and the Chiefs corners really struggle against, like, say, the Bengals, where T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and even Tyler Boyd to an extent were really giving them the business. So I think that the Eagles, pains me to say this, I think the Eagles will take it. It's going to be high scoring. I don't think they're going to win by much. It's definitely more of a challenge than they've faced up to this point. But I think probably maybe 35-31 is my score prediction. And MVP, got to go with Jalen Hurts here.
It goes to the quarterback most of the time.
I mean, yeah, it's unless there's some like pick six
or like Julian Edelman in Super Bowl 53 where
no quarterback really stood out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably a quarterback.
All right.
Yeah.
Tuck?
Jeez, I agree with all of you. I'm going with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are the more dominant team. I think offensively and defensively, they're the most complete out of them. I still think that because it's Andy Reid and it's Patrick Mahomes and because it's the Chiefs, they're still going to put up a great fight. I still think it's going to be a relatively high-scoring game. But I picked the Eagles to fight it out through the end because I trust that defense more so than I trust Kansas City's defense, even though Chris Jones has shown up like a beast this postseason. Good Lord. But overall, I still trust the Eagles more. I'm taking the score Eagles 30-27, and surprisingly, I'm going defense for my MVP, Hassan Reddick. I think he's going to be the X this game.
Okay. Yeah, from what I can tell right now, it doesn't look like Andy Reid's going to be having that cheeseburger, so does not look likely so far. CJ, who do you have?
I've given this a lot of thought.
Sure.
I've sat on it for a while. And as someone who also has no rooting interest in this Super Bowl at all, I think Philly takes it. And I used to think the Chiefs, but just looking over the rosters, I don't trust that Chiefs secondary. I trust the Eagles' defense to stop KC more than I trust KC's defense to stop Philly. And the score. Now, everyone expects a high-scoring shootout, but that doesn't always happen in the Super Bowl because, Super Bowl is like the Wild West. Basically, anything goes. And I do think it's going to be relatively high-scoring, but I think I would argue that Philly ekes it out, we'll say 31-23 thereabouts, wins by at least a score. And I think now I'm going to go all out, go big or go home. My MVP, Super Bowl MVP, AJ Brown. I think he's going to cook that secondary and then proceed to eat them alive. I'm talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or so catches, over 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Now, who's the emergency? Who has the medical emergency going on?
It's not me.
We got the
That's
fire.
not me.
It's coming from my room. They just ran past the school or
Fire
like, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Adam, I'll throw it to you for the final thing. Who do you got?
Man, I never like when it's a sweep because I like to hear the other side of the argument. But I can't not pick the Eagles. So it looks like we're all going to have them. But so like all you guys say, it's going to be high scoring. And like all you guys say, it's going to be the Eagles winning the game. Where I differ is that it's going to be relatively close. It might still be a 2-score game, but I think the Chiefs, I think the Eagles will have it comfortably, just because they're just that much better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs are also kind of banged up on the offensive side. They've gotten a little healthier, but Patrick Mahomes is still nursing that high ankle sprain. That doesn't just go away. He was able to work with it during the last game, but the Bengals pass rush is nothing like the Eagles, where they will just come right at you.
No, I'll say this. This Eagles team, in comparison to the one that won the Super Bowl, I mean, they were a good team. They, good enough to get to the playoffs, and you had Carson Wentz at one point. He was an MVP candidate. They were a good team, but it was almost kind of like a Disney movie. Like they were underdogs, and everyone knew it. Philly is not the underdog this time. Like, they are built to win a championship. They are better than that Super Bowl team that they had back in Super Bowl 52. They can definitely take this game. But I will say this, Adam. I know that you're talking about a blowout. I really hope
not a blowout, just a comfortable victory. I would say.
Sure. Yeah. I really hope we don't have that, because we've had too many Super Bowls now where it's just completely one-sided and it's boring. And by the third quarter, you don't even want to watch the thing anymore. So I really hope that we don't even have that, regardless of who wins this game, guys. I just want it to be a good game. I want it to be something that we can enjoy and end the NFL season on a high note, because Adam, you mentioned that Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl, which was an absolute drag of a game. I just don't want one of those where, it's just completely downhill, utter embarrassment type of stuff. I want a fun game. I want it to come.
I'm not predicting that at all.
And I want it to be a great time.
Yeah, and on top of that, this postseason I was really excited for this postseason. I thought we were going to get some good matchups, some great games. We really haven't gotten much of that this postseason.
Kind of been a dud. It's been a dud.
Besides that one wild card game where the Chargers blew the big lead, that was fun.
But still, Adam.
And then there
wasn't even a back and forth, though. There wasn't even back.
Yeah, right. Besides that, and then kind of the Chiefs game as well, between them and the Bengals. That was a good one, but it was horribly officiating. It was a train wreck to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't gotten much.
Yeah.
The close ones have been ugly ones. So I really hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see this one being that competitive. I see one team that's better than the other. And if they're healthy, I would say that Patrick Mahomes could overshadow some of the imperfections on this Chiefs team, but he's just not healthy.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to move around and avoid that rush. And
Adam, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's apparently like an illness going around the Chiefs locker room right now.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So it's like I can't take the Chiefs, and I don't think it's going to be that close either. I have the Eagles winning, let's say 35-21.
Okay. That's the score. That's actually the score of the game that when the Packers beat the Pats.
We don't need to bring that up again. We don't need to bring that up again. But I'm very indifferent on my Super Bowl MVP. I was looking between Jalen Hurts and Hassan Reddick, and I was toying with the idea of a wide receiver. Just it's very rare that a wide receiver wins Super Bowl MVP. So I think I'm gonna lead Hassan Reddick. I think
2 defensive picks for the MVP. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that Eagles line is going to dominate. They're going to take advantage of an injured Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs' offensive line has always been okay, and this year it's kind of underperforming, but it's no match for this elite Eagles front seven that has dominated all season. They have the most sacks by far. The next closest in regular season, the Eagles have 70. The Chiefs are second with 55. Yeah, and it's the same way in pressures. It's just unbelievable. So I have the Eagles, and they're going to dominate on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. All right. So that's our Super Bowl prediction picks. Adam, do you have anything left, or we about to take it away?
I think that's going to be it for me, unless you guys have anything.
All right. Well, I'll kind of. Oh, Zeke.
I got one more thing. Sure. Even though the Eagles are a young team, I think that if they win this Super Bowl, you're going to see a lot of pieces go.
Sure.
Fletcher Cox probably gonna retire if they win. That's my guess, at least. They have some older pieces. I don't see them. I see them retiring most likely. You like to retire on top. You do.
Do you want me to give you some notable free agents?
Oh, absolutely.
Fletcher Cox, Robert Quinn, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, James Bradbury, Ndamukong Suh, kind of Boston Scott, Miles Sanders. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And see, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So yeah, they're gonna lose a lot of pieces.
They're both win it this year, but in the years to come, I don't think it will be necessarily a dynasty coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's yeah. I agree with you there. But all right, thank you guys so much for tuning into this Super Bowl special between the Fumblerooski podcast and Down to the Wire. We've actually been streaming this on 88.7 HD2 WJMF FM radio. It's been a great time being able to do this. I will say, you guys want to follow my podcast, Down to the Wire, you can follow that at down.to-the-wire. At this point, we're going to turn things over to my NBA segment with Chris String. That's obviously if you're watching my show, of course. So if you're watching my podcast, we'll go to Chris String right now. And if we are still on the Fumblerooski podcast, we'll keep things here. And Adam, I'll have you sign off.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to our third annual Super Bowl special. It's always a fun one to have it, especially with the Down to the Wire boys. They always put on a good show. But we hope you guys also enjoyed our NFL honors recap where CJ and I yesterday at this point we compared our preseason picks to what actually happened. That was fun. We got some of them right, some of them really wrong. So that was fun to do. But without further ado, thank you for listening to us. Be sure to tune in to us live Tuesdays at 7:30 on Twitter and Facebook through Secret Weapon Consulting. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have all our episodes available on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Also, be sure to follow our Instagram at Fumblerooski_podcast to keep up with our podcast and the latest coverage on the NFL. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Over and out.